Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
The popularity of turbocharged engines is growing rapidly. This is a great way to squeeze maximum power out of a small working volume. Not everyone recognizes turbines on cars, but with the fact of their superiority over atmospheric engines in terms of power and performance is pointless to argue. At the same time, turbo engines have their shortcomings and features, which can sometimes be tolerated, and in some cases you have to fight. One of such phenomena is the turbo sluggishness effect. A turbo yoke is a consequence of inertial processes occurring in the turbine mechanism. When a pothole occurs, there is a dip in speed when the driver presses the accelerator pedal, followed by a jerk of the car. Such behavior of the vehicle negatively affects the comfort level of the driver and his passengers. Especially strong turbojamma becomes noticeable when an attempt is made to overtake another car. Because of the delayed reaction of the car to the pressed gas pedal, accidents and traffic accidents are not uncommon. Causes of occurrence. Everyone has already roughly understood what turbojam of the engine is. Such a problem is familiar to many who operate cars with turbocharged motors. And if you have a turbocharged engine, there is always a chance to feel the effect of turbo yoke. The problem in the turbine is felt most strongly by those drivers who prefer rather fast and dynamic driving. It is unlikely that they enjoy the fact that when the gas pedal is pushed all the way down, instead of acceleration, there is a dip, and then the car is jerked forward sharply. This happens only when the engine turbine reaches its working pressure. It is important to note that this effect occurs on all types of turbocharged engines. Therefore, both gasoline and diesel engines are at risk. Surely everyone knows about the increase in power of the power unit when the amount of fuel supplied inside the combustion chamber increases. But this effect can only be achieved when the resulting fuel-air mixture is completely burned. On turbo engines, there is a shortage of oxygen, which causes the torque to drop. In order for the turbo engine to receive the necessary amount of air, there is a turbine. It is her function to provide the necessary volume of oxygen for complete combustion of the fuel entering the chamber. The classic turbine is represented as a pair of impellers, which are located on a single shaft in two separate chambers. The first impeller is rotated by the exhaust gases to activate the second impeller. The second impeller captures the air and starts feeding it into the combustion chamber under pressure. The more the exhaust rotates the first impeller, the more fresh oxygen the second impeller can supply. When the driver depresses the accelerator pedal, the volume of fuel flowing in increases instantly. As the fuel burns, the gases act on the impeller. The increase in turbine speed only occurs with a certain inertia. This is what prevents the turbo engine from developing its maximum power. As soon as the turbine reaches the required revolutions, the required acceleration begins. Read also, TSI engines. Power and economy turbocharged engines work well at high RPM. But at low speeds, the shortcomings of the system begin to appear. Turbo sluggishness occurs due to the fact that a large amount of exhaust gas is required for the impeller to work. And for this to happen, the fuel-air mixture must first enter the engine cylinders. The driver steps on the gas, the mixture burns and exhaust is released. But when the RPM is low, the exhaust gas is produced in small quantities, which makes the impeller rotate weakly. It creates a kind of vicious circle. The more fuel, the more oxygen the turbine needs. But in order for the turbine to supply the required amount of air, it needs a lot of exhaust itself. The period between pressing the accelerator pedal and the increase in the amount of exhaust that allows the impeller to spin faster is called the turbo lag. Troubleshooting a problem on diesel engines. Owners of diesel turbocharged cars often wonder how to remove turbo sloshing. This effect is a constant distraction and hinders normal acceleration, especially when overtaking. The most relevant and effective way to reduce turbo lag in relation to diesel turbocharged engines is the use of a system of snails, which have a different cross-section. This solution allows the exhaust gases to be fed through channels with different diameters. This leads to a gradual acceleration of the turbine. Therefore, the driver will not feel any dips or jerks. When the car is traveling at low speed, i.e. the revolutions are close to the idle speed, only the small snail is basically functioning. If the driver begins to press the accelerator pedal, gradually and one by one the channels with a large cross-section are connected. For each car, engine, and its configuration, it is possible to install a different number of snails with different characteristics. Fighting turbo yoke on gasoline engines, although to a greater extent with the problem of turbo sluggishness, are faced by owners of diesel cars. Similar failures at acceleration can be observed on gasoline power units. When a gasoline engine is running, a slightly smaller amount of exhaust gas is produced when the fuel is burned. This can affect the rate of change of the current turbo speed. To relieve drivers from the problem of acceleration lags, car manufacturers try to use and implement different design solutions. The most effective is considered to be a supercharger. Its appearance made it possible to get rid of the main problem of turbocharged power units. It is about the dependence of the volume of oxygen entering the combustion chamber on the amount of exhaust gases. Read also, the correct ways of honing the cylinders of the engine in the production of powerful gasoline cars. Car companies install special radiators modified in their layout. An important feature of them is the installation at a certain angle. Although avoiding a frontal or vertical location has its disadvantages, this location of the radiator reduces the amount of incoming air needed to cool the engine. But powerful airflows are able to effectively spin the turbine, creating the necessary high pressure on the impeller. Hence the increased performance without obvious turbo lag. Not only car owners themselves think about how to get rid of turbo yoke. Car manufacturers themselves are actively working on this issue, and quite successfully. How to get rid of the effect. Motorists want to get the maximum from a turbocharged engine, and in this they are hindered by the turbo yoke effect. Therefore, an urgent issue is the search for a solution to such a problem. To get rid of this unpleasant phenomenon, characteristic of turbocharged power units, experienced drivers advised to turn on the lowest gear on the transmission just before the start of overtaking. Due to such action, it is possible to cope with the effect of turbo yoke. But at the same time, you should be prepared for the fact that the engine will start to burn and consume more fuel. Additional discomfort is caused by the need to operate the gearshift knob. One of the options for eliminating the sometimes annoying effect of turbo lag is the use of chip tuning. Here the result depends entirely on how qualified and experienced is the master of chip tuning. It is recommended to trust only proven and well-proven specialists. Before you give your car for chip tuning, think about the warranty. If the car is still under the warranty of an official dealer, reflashing the electronic control unit to get rid of the turbo effect will deprive you of this privilege. Currently, automakers are actively working on eliminating the turbo yoke effect. They are making significant progress. New cars released with finalized turbo mechanisms, less and less show such a disadvantage. But no one has yet managed to get rid of turbo lag completely. The task is not easy, and therefore a large amount of work awaits car companies ahead. Owners of cars with turbocharged engines are recommended to take into account the peculiarities of the behavior of such a motor, making, overtaking, and operating the car at low and medium speeds. If you need a sharp acceleration, prepare for the fact that the car will not immediately respond to the accelerator pedal pressed to the floor. Although on newer turbocharged cars, turbo jams are felt less and less. This is the result of the hard work of engineers at leading car companies. In conclusion, understanding the causes of turbo lag is essential for optimizing your vehicle's performance. By addressing factors such as turbocharger size, exhaust flow, and engine tuning, you can significantly reduce lag and enhance responsiveness. Implementing solutions like upgrading to a smaller turbo, improving exhaust systems, or utilizing advanced tuning techniques can make a noticeable difference. Remember, each vehicle is unique, so it's important to tailor your approach based on specific needs and conditions. With the right strategies, you can enjoy a more exhilarating driving experience with minimal turbo lag. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more insights on automotive performance.